What's up, ladies? Thank you for joining me for another episode of To the Core, my Friday episode. I am here by myself. You can see on the YouTube, it's all just me, and it's been a minute since I've recorded by myself. I need to get a little more comfortable with it, but no time like the present just to get out there and do it, right? So I want to talk today about our bonds, our marital bonds, not like that, ladies, but how the relationship with our spouse is affecting our children, guiding our children, setting our children up for the relationships that they're going to have down the road. So why this came to my mind is because Rick has been away again for the last 10 days hunting. Thank goodness hunting season is over. I swear he's never been this way before. He's never been a hunt guy. He's gone, on hunts, but I've never had that same vibe that the women around here in Southern Utah. It's like, oh, I'm a hunt widow. Oh, it's hunting season. I'm a hunt widow. I've never had that. Also, in the same regard, Rick's never been a huge sports fanatic. He'll go play golf with his buddies, or he'll go play basketball, or he'll watch a game. And now our son's so into football, so he will watch football games with him as well. But he's never been the guy that's like, oh, I have to watch the Sunday football game or whatever. Our life has never revolved around those kinds of things. And so for this year to have hunting be such a prominent force in our marriage, it's really been weird. So he's back finally. It's not just me being a single parent anymore. And the thing that I notice the most when he's gone is, and it's a good and a bad thing, because what I notice when he's gone is that I miss him so much and I miss his support so much. And what that makes me think of is that he is so supportive when he's home. So obviously for him to be away and me miss something, he had to have been providing something for me in the time that he's home, right? So he's good with the kids. He's so good with, even when he'd be working all day, that was kind of his thing, that he would come home from work and it would be his time to play with the kids, and that would be my time to kind of have a break. And now that we've kind of role reversed, obviously I feel it a lot more because I can't do the same things. I have the baby, I have our 2-year-old, so I can't do the same things that I need to do for work that I can do when he's here and has the baby for me. So obviously those are the kind of things, but I'm also talking about more emotional connection for the kinds of things like, how do I explain what the point I'm trying to make? Okay. Women, do you feel like in your marriage you have a husband, a partner, or a lot of the time do you feel like you have an additional child, just a bigger child? Because that's a problem. That's what I want to talk about today, because not only is that a problem for your relationship with your husband, that's a problem for your children, seeing that that's the relationship that you have with your husband, and that's the example that they're going to grow up to. Your daughters are going to think that that's the normal way of living. Your sons are going to think that's the normal way of treating their wives. So these are the things that we need to think about for the future, because we're working on growth for ourselves, and our husbands, especially you wives that have husbands in the Iron Council, they are working on growth for themselves as well. So these are things that we should also be working on ourselves, because it's affecting the next generation, where we're trying to grow men, we're trying to grow women who are strong and can take care of their family if they need to, and support their husbands in the things they do. I was listening to a podcast episode from Melanie Studley, her husband, Seth Studley, and it's Anatomy of Us, I believe, or is it Anatomy of Marriage? Sorry, you guys, I don't have it right here with me. Anyway, I was listening to this episode and she made this very, very good point about how society kind of projects this image of the husband, the male figure in the family, as kind of like the Homer Simpson, like this idiot, can't do anything right, goes to work 9 to 5, comes home, sits on the couch, drinks beer, goes to bed. And that's a very unfair stigma for these men, especially the men that are quality men, that has nothing to do with. They can't relate to that at all. So first of all, I want you to look at your life. I want you to look at your marriage and ask yourself, do I have a partner or do I just have an additional child? If you have an additional child, let's talk about this. Let's figure this out. Let's dig deeper into how we can best support you on your journey to talking to him about the fact that he's just a big child and you need support and you need help. You have to be able to, he can't read your mind. You know, this poor guy, maybe he was raised this way. Maybe this is normal for him from his family of origin. Maybe this is something that his mom always did these things and his dad always did these things. So maybe that's where it's coming from and you guys haven't had this conversation. He can't read your mind. So this is something that you're going to need to sit down, calmly, lovingly address the fact that you need more support. You're feeling like you just have an additional child and he needs to step up. And then you guys need to work on what that looks like in your family, figure that out. Anyway, so that topic had me thinking about what examples am I setting for my boys? I don't have girls. I just have boys. What examples am I setting for them, as well as what examples Rick's setting, not only as their father, but as a husband? Because these boys are going to be husbands, right? One day. And I would be so sad if not only was their wife feeling like she had another child, I would feel like a failure as a mother if a complaint that came from my future daughter-in-law was that she just feels like she has another child, because I will not raise my boys that way. I want them to be able to help with the laundry, help with the chores, help with the kids, you know, or go to work, or make sure you guys at least communicate that those are things that need to be addressed. Who does the chores? Who does the laundry? Who does, if I'm at work all day, is that just part of what you're doing in the day to stay home with our kids? You know, whatever. You just need to have the communication and have the conversations. You can't, it just all goes back to he can't read your mind. So if this is a situation you find yourself in and I'm saying some things and you're like, oh yeah, that makes sense. That kind of makes me think about that. Also, so in the same regard, he can't read your mind. Don't be so mad at him all the time because he can't read your mind. Are you the kind of wife that, and I'm this way too. So I'm not saying this is all, I'm judging anybody. I'm saying I get this way too. I'll come home and if it's cluttered or if there's still dishes in the sink or whatever, clutter gives me anxiety. It's just one of my triggers that I just, ooh. So instead of wanting to come home and be the fun, happy mom and the loving wife, I just instead go into this mode of stress and rage cleaning. And why isn't this done? And I just make everybody feel horrible around me. And nobody wants to be around that lady. So instead, maybe ask how his day, I should say his, this is hard for me, ladies, because now I'm the one coming home and saying, how was your day, dear? How was everything at home? But really it should be the husbands doing this for you. So it's kind of a funny thing. Anyway, when he gets home for you, okay, or on the other hand of that, if you're getting home for him, start by just saying, hey, start having a habit where you come home and the first thing you do is kiss your husband, or the first thing you do is hug your husband. And then you start to build this habit, and eventually it won't even be something you have to remind yourself to do. It's just something you do. It's like Rick always says, I love you when he hangs up the phone. Always. It does it with everybody. I mean, if you're talking to him on the phone and you're one of his employees, he may let it slip because he says it so often. It's something that's very important to him. So he always lets people know, I love you. But it's something that's so natural to him that he does do it on the conversations with employees sometimes, or with people that he shouldn't say it to. And he's like, oh, sorry. But anyway, I love you, but it's fine. But what I'm saying is maybe start building habits. Like when you first come home, you kiss your husband, or when he first comes home, you kiss your husband or hug your husband. First thing you do, how was your day? Check in on each other. Have that maybe be the first thing, not look around the house and see why everything is a mess, or why the kids are screaming, or why one of them's running around naked and doesn't have a diaper on, whatever the scenario is. Take a minute and check in with each other first before you just instantly, the laundry's not folded, the dishes aren't done, the dinner's not made. Or on the other side of that, when he comes in, if he's ornery or having a bad day, maybe he just got off the phone with a horrible client or something like that. Maybe he needs to go have, I call it relaxation station. When my kids get home from school and they're all just wired and bouncing off walls because of when they get let out of school and they're playing with their friends, and then they jump in the car and they're bouncing all over the place and they're just, they're all fired up. So when we get home, I call it relaxation station. Everybody just goes to wherever they want to be, their room, the living room, whatever, wherever they go, we all separate from each other for a minute, and we have like 30 minutes to just decompress, get our bearings. Now we're home, and then we come back together, and it's a lot easier than just going straight from the riled up, busy, jumping, bouncing on the car seats, and this is what happened in this day, and this is what happened with my day, blah, 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 whatever. So take a minute, let him decompress if he needs it, or like I said, just start talking about how was your day, or how did things go, or what did your day look like? And then you can maybe talk about the things that were like, oh, this was kind of hard for me, or oh, this was a little, I had a moment today and everybody had to go to timeouts or whatever. Then my next thought from that moves to, if you're the person coming home to someone, or if someone's coming home to you, don't be that person that just craps all over them. Just like word vomits all the negativity that you've had storing up in you. Like if you had a bad fight with your sister, or, or if you're at the office and the lady that you just cannot stand at the office did something, just irritated you to no end, or you didn't meet a deadline and your boss was just all over you, think about that as we talked about it in the Jamie Villalobos episode. She said that she was coming home to Sean and just unloading all of her crap on him. And that's not fair. That's additional drama, additional baggage that our partner doesn't need from us. So whatever way it's going, try to think about that as, can we have 5 minutes, maybe set a time. Can we have 5 minutes to just like get it all out? Just, this is what happened. It was rough, but we're figuring it out, or whatever. So you've got 5 minutes to do that. Just think about it like that way. And then after that, it's done. You don't bring up any other drama. You don't bring up any other negativity, and you close that door. You close the work door. Who is it? Is it Tony Robbins that talks about closing the doors? Close the work door. You're home now. You're in your home. Close the door. Rick and I have talked about that maybe we need to start putting our cell phones away from us. I know a lot of people do that for dinner time especially, but we've talked about maybe we need to start turning our cell phones off, putting them away from us at like 6 p.m. so that we can have time together, because that's kind of our time once we get the kids fed and doing whatever they're doing. That's kind of our time to come together and have our little date night. We watch a show or just talk or catch up with each other, So we've talked about that's going to be something important that we need to start thinking about, is putting our phones away, because that's interrupting our time to bond. And it also causes drama. It also causes, why are you answering that email right now when you should be hanging out with me? Why are you talking to that friend right now when you should be hanging out with me? So anyway, brings up these couple things. So I wanted to go back to kids learning these responsibilities before it gets so far down the road that it becomes their spouse's responsibility, so being able to acknowledge what we got passed down from our parents generationally, and what we've had to fill in the gaps and figure out for ourselves personality wise. But am I raising boys to be men. I think about that all the time. And I think it's to my detriment a lot of times because I instead of being the fun, easygoing mom, I become this dictator that I have to raise men. I have to, but it's not all on me. It's not all my job. It's part of Rick's job as well. And luckily I have him, because if it wasn't for him, I would probably be a helicopter mom and my kids would be little crybabies or something. I don't know, but he is so good. Our yin and our yang in our family is, I do appreciate that so much. And take a look in your own marriage and see if this is something, and not even your marriage, in your relationship, if you're just dating, or the people that you are considering dating or you're considering marrying, take a look at these values that they have and see if these are people that complement what you bring to the table. You bring different things to the table, but you want to make sure you complement each other's. So we say it all the time, like Rick lets them go get in dirty ponds. They go and find salamanders, they go and catch lizards, they climb on rocks, they do all these things while at the same time I'm trying to be open and allow that to happen. But if it was just me, it wouldn't happen. Or say he makes fun of me because when it starts to get colder, I warm up their school clothes. I put them in the dryer before they wake up so that when they wake up, they can put on warm clothes, because I think that's so nice. I think that would be so cuddly if I got out of bed and someone had a nice warm cuddly blanket for me to have my coffee with. So that's what I do. And Rick gives me the hardest time about it sometimes, but that's what I mean. If it was not both of us, if I didn't have him to complement that I'm a little bit overly helicoptery, he's more rough and tough and let them get hurt and they can figure it out. And so it's a good balance. But what I'm saying with that is I want to get back to how I would hate it if I found out that my future daughter-in-law was complaining that she had a child, not a husband, not a partner. And so Rick, being in the swapped, we've swapped roles, has allowed them, he's doing some really interesting things, because of course I had chores for my kids. I had chore charts, but I don't think I've revisited the chore charts. I think they've gotten stagnant. And so it's like anything in your life. Obviously with a new job or a new hobby, you're so excited at the beginning of it because it's all new and unknown. And yeah, it's a little stressful, but still it's keeping your brain busy and trying to figure out a problem, trying to problem solve. And that keeps us engaged. So same with chores for your kids. Don't forget that they're growing up and what you had them doing before now is just monotony, and it's so easy. They don't want to do it. So maybe it's become a fight again. But if you allow them to do something maybe above their age range that you would think. So now Castle's 11 and he does the garbages. He takes all the garbages out, takes the big dumpsters out to the road and brings them back in. Maybe he's a little old for that now. Maybe he's outgrown that. So now he mows the lawn. He mows the lawn and he has to empty the bag and everything. That's something that's growing with him. Also, Rick has them go grocery shopping. I'm not kidding you guys. It blew my mind. Rick says that he walks behind them. He gives them a list. He walks behind them and does not say a word. They go down the aisles. They find the food. He's teaching them how to look at the prices and what's that little number on there that says the amount per ounce or whatever. He's showing them to look at those kinds of things. Homeschool moms, this should blow your mind. This should be like, yes, I'm writing this down, because that is 100% life skill lessons that are more important than geometry. I'm sorry. That's my opinion. Take it however you want to take it. Throw it away, keep it, write it down, whatever. These are the life lessons that we need to be teaching our kids. They need to know how to balance a checkbook. They need to understand what credit cards are and what interest means. They need to be able to take a shopping list and not only take it to the grocery store and get the items they need to be able to know that they're not spending too much, and then bring them home and let them cook a meal. Honestly, they are old enough to do that. I have an 11-year-old and an 8-year-old. They love doing those kinds of things now. Rick has just opened their mind to these new things. Also, laundry. Am I the only one out here that just does everything? I am. I know I'm not alone, but I feel like I just do everything and I take it all on myself, and then I'm so frustrated and I'm so mad. And why? Why am I so mad at myself? I'm choosing to do this. I'm not making them do anything. I'm not telling them they need to do the laundry. But guess what? It's changed. We're done with that now. I am learning. I'm growing. I'm seeing that that was not the right way. It's caused me so much stress, and it's made tension in our homes, and it makes me the bad, mean, nagging wife and mean mom. So let's start thinking like that, like laundry. My 11-year-old is old enough. My 8-year-old is old enough. Honestly, he can't reach. He'd have to have a stool, but he is old enough to be able to put laundry into the washing machine and then move it over into the dryer and then fold the laundry when it comes out. I already have them folding their laundry and hanging things up. So I'm going to start having them do their own laundry. These are things that, these are such simple things that we just have to, as women, let go of. Like, why does it need to be done a certain way? Why do we feel like we have to have so much control over everything? We're creating so much stress for ourselves. We're creating this home life of stress and anxiety and tension when really it needs to be peaceful, calm. Let the clutter be for today. It's fine. The baby's toys are all over the floor tonight. Whatever. Great. Work on building those bonds over stressing about the dishes in the sink. Work on complimenting your husband. Do you like it when he compliments you? Yeah. And tell him that. Talk to him. He can't read your mind. I have a gal in the sisterhood, and she told me about that she has a brain dump that she does. So everything that's on her mind, she just writes down into a notebook and writes it down, like her to-do list or whatever she's thinking about, or I need to grab this, or I need to do this. And she just brain dumps it onto this notepad. Well, she started putting it in the center of the kitchen table where her husband could see it as well. And he started checking off things off of her brain dump list for her. It blew my mind. That was so amazing. If I did that with Rick, he would absolutely do that. He would love that. He always is making lists and checking them off, and he'll text me lists, and I'm like, oh my gosh, quit texting me lists. But it's the same thing. You have to consider that this person, maybe they have so much, their brains just go so much faster and they can't shut them off, that they have so many things going through their brains all the time that it needs to get dumped out onto something and written down. And then they need the list checked off. They need to check everything off and make sure everything's getting done. So I thought that was a really, really exceptional way to do that she didn't even ask him to do anything. She was just doing it for herself. And then he just started doing it. He started checking things off the list for her. I thought that was really cool. So let's revisit what we've gone over. So when we first get home, or when your husband first gets home, either way, don't jump down each other's throats instantly about what is wrong with the home or what was wrong in the day, right? We're going to start with a hug, with a kiss. How was your day, babe? Whatever, right? Remember, first and foremost, you are a team. You are here to support each other. You're not in competition. There's no competition. I know in a lot of situations it feels like there's competition, and there shouldn't be. I don't know why that's there. Next, have maybe a time set. You each get an egg timer? What's that? 3 minutes, an egg timer amount of time to be able to just dump whatever happened in the day. That's fine. That's healthy. You have to be able to communicate the negative with the positive as well, but don't do it so much and for so long that it becomes this other person's baggage. It becomes something that now they are stressed about. All right, so then you're done with that timer. Then take a look at how you are communicating with each other and helping each other in the handling of the kids and helping with the homework. And okay, I'm cooking dinner right now, so can you take the kids out and play? Can you go throw the ball with them? Or, hey, we're doing homework right now. Can you maybe handle dinner? Teamwork. Okay. It's this whole, I went to the office all day. I've been working all day. I shouldn't have to come home and do stuff. No, that's the Homer Simpson is dead. No more Homer Simpson husbands. Okay. This is teamwork. This is a business. Your home is your business. You've got your CFO and your CEO. You run it together, whatever. So you've got to communicate these things. And then in the end of that result, your kids are going to learn that it's about teamwork, that relationships between a husband and a wife, it's not mom does all this stuff, dad does all this stuff, and then they're mad at each other all the time because they didn't communicate that some of the stuff didn't get done. So that is also, I'm really actually excited for my Tuesday episode. I feel like this is something that's been on my brain all week. And so it just happened to be today's episode because Rick just got back from his hunt. So it actually happened. It's been on my mind, So this just happened to be the topic I wanted to talk about today for the Friday episode. But my Tuesday episode that's coming up, this is like a perfect primer for that one because it's with Melanie Studley. So that's funny that a lot of the things she's been saying in her podcast lately have been really striking a nerve in me. And maybe it's probably because of our conversation that we had. I'm really excited for you guys to hear it. So I think it'll just flow perfectly from this to the core episode into next week's Tuesday episode with her. But I hope that I'm not just coming at you like, bleh, I know everything. I'm coming at you more with, these are the things that I would like to implement in my life and in my marriage as well. And I'm going to start trying to do that. And maybe this will help someone else implement it in their life as well. Maybe it's something that someone needed to see or hear that just finally struck a nerve and they're like, yeah, you know what? You're right. I'm going to do that too. Or yeah, that's something I need to be better at. Women, we are not victims, right? I wrote in my newsletter this week, the whole mentality of, oh, the kids are so hard. Oh, motherhood is so hard. Oh, my husband expects me to do this and that. And why can't he do it himself? This whole victim mentality, it's got to stop. We can do hard things, ladies. Yes, you definitely need your partner. If you are married, you definitely need that person in your life to help carry the weight. Like I said, it's business. You're both wanting the same result, a profitable business, which would be successful lives, everybody in your family. There's no competition. You want the same end result. So why would you be so negative all the time about what's going on, right? Kick yourself in the pants. You're allowed to have bad days. You're allowed to feel your feels. But at the end of it, kick yourself in the butt and say, you know what? I'm better than this. I can do hard things. I'm going to figure out a better way to do the laundry if that's making me crazy. I'm going to figure out a better way, or I'm going to hire someone to come clean my house. I'm going to figure out a better way to handle meal prep or get that out of the way so I don't have to stress about it and I can enjoy my family more. Whatever it is, you are making the choice to be a victim. You are making the choice to make things harder on yourself. You are making the choice. So I don't know. I hope that wasn't all over the place, you guys. It's just some things that I've been thinking about this week while Rick's been gone. And I'm so glad he's home now. I appreciate him so much that I thought it was a really great topic to just get off my chest and just let it go and let it fall wherever it's going to fall, on the ears that it needs to fall on. For the rest of you with perfect marriages and perfect kids and happy home lives, write in and tell me your tips and tricks. Okay. Just ignore everything I just talked about. And would you come in and tell me the secret to it? Yeah, exactly. Because there's no such thing. We're all in this together and there's no such thing. Anyway, ladies, thank you again. Thank you so much. You heard me mention our weekly newsletter. If you're not signed up for that yet, make sure you go to revitalizedwomanhood.com and sign up for that. It's free weekly newsletter. It's just basically my thoughts and kind of like what I'm doing here right now today, but it just a thought that I'm having, and it is our book of the month that we're doing in the sisterhood and working on goals there. And if you have any other questions, absolutely reach out to me anytime on Instagram at Revitalized Womanhood. I'd love to chat and meet you in that platform as well. Thank you so much, ladies. Have a great weekend.